right around the corner of the best wrestling pay-per-view of all time, AEW All Out. We are here with a loose Lug Nuts Cup Series at Chicagoland Speedway. And ladies and gentlemen, the field is on the grid, and I believe, let me check the watch. Yep, it's clobbering time. Next to me, of course, is the voice of the man and the face that runs the place, Paul Strickland Jr. Paul, you ready to call some live action 100 laps here at Chicago?
The voice of the face that runs the place. That right there, my friend, is the newest t-shirt that's going to be available very, very soon at Vidane.shop. But I am ready to rock and roll. Kenny Cappula as well. He's got that Sasquatch juice cranking in that number 77 car. Very fast here at Chicago. Two-time winner, going to be starting on the outside of him with Tommy Kelly, Dave Douthwaite, Preston Peer, Eric Kling, last week's winner. Ed Boyles Jr. is up front in the top 10 or so. And you can see the rest of these cats going through, getting ready to do battle here at Chicagoland Speedway. And, man, you mentioned the AEW pay-per-view from last Sunday. If you're a wrestling fan, we don't usually like to cross-promote, especially if you're not paying us. But, man, oh, man, what a great wrestling pay-per-view. Awesome time to be a wrestling fan, and it's a great time to be a race fan as well. We got 100 laps on the docket here tonight for Chicagoland, the Loose Lugz Cup Series, race number 6, and these guys are already thinking big picture. These guys are already thinking championship.
Paul, and as you were mentioning, this is a stacked field with starting on the pole of Kenny Cappula, with Tommy Kelly in that number 3 machine starting on the outside, David Douthwaite in that 34, and outside of him is Preston Perrier, and rounding out your top 5s, Eric Kling in that 51. On the outside of him will be Ed Boyles Jr. The inside will be Sean Rhodes. He'll be in that number 42 machine, and right above him is the 11 of Wayne Bowen. And then rounding out your top 10 is Trevor Absher in the number 19, and the 18, his teammate outside of him is Jimmy Absher. So about to see the pace car head down pit road as he goes. Green flag is waving here at Chicagoland. A Loose Lugz Cup Series is 100 laps going in here at Chicago Speedway.
Got to give a shout out to everybody watching at home on Facebook and YouTube. Tim Ingram, one of the drivers here in the field, not here tonight. iRacing Build Day coming out with some updates, not able to get the download in time, so tough to see that happen early on in the season, but there's always time to make up the points here. There you see battle for the lead already handing on over to Tommy Kelly on the outside, but Kenny Cappula holding strong down on that white line down the bottom of the racetrack.
Cappula trying to make it work there, and when that work, he will sacrifice the lead to Kelly in that 3 car. They're 3 wide behind him, battling it out for that 4th position. Give that to Calvin Ruff, going down into the corner. Oh, car into the wall. That was a 19 Trevor Absher, but we stay green.
Sliding on back is Trevor Absher. He's going to try and hold on to it the best he can, and it looks like everything sorts itself out. Still 2, 3 wide all over this big wide racetrack, front stretch, back stretch. Looking like a battle royal all over the track. These guys trying not to go over the top rope.
Number 5, Ed Boyles struggled big time through 1 and 2 that lap as he falls all the way back here outside of the top 10. It's Ed Boyles, but he's able to keep it straight in front of him, though. They are 3 by 3 heading into 1.
Seems like everybody's starting to stretch it out here in the top 5.
38 of Preston Perrier hits the apron there, Paul, in 1 and 2. Completely loses control, but gathers it back up, and now he's going to just sink like a rock as Perrier in that 38 machine.
Gonna have to get another swig of that Death Wish coffee there on the hood of the number 38 for Preston Perrier, and probably gonna have to grab some of the dude wipes on the back because that was a big wiggle there, and you can see the 41 of Josh Battles trying to get in underneath here, and whoa, loose the car just a little bit. We'll see. Looks like he doesn't hold on to it. He's down there in through the grass and comes up, kicks up some dirt, comes back into the racing groove and stops. Caution flag does in fact come out, and gives us a quick opportunity to take a peek at a Kong Beerbong instant replay, even though we saw the shot live. Always good to see what it was that happened here. And Wes, these guys really quick, really fast all the way around this track and relatively clean. I know you've seen a couple of these guys race here before, but great racing here so far tonight.
Yes, there has been, and you mentioned that 41 machine. He came across the radio of Joshua Battles and said it was kind of locked up on him. So something that he wished he could have avoided there, but unfortunately a little bit of mechanical failure, I guess you could say, as he was there in the tri-oval, and his wheel just started messing up on him. So he did the right thing, got off the track, make sure he didn't involve anybody else, but it did bring out that yellow.
And that's one of the things to really keep in mind here. Even though it is a simulation, quote unquote, or a game or whatever it may or may not be, there's still mechanical failures, computer failures, wheel failures. Things come unplugged, and sometimes things don't work out the way you want them to. But um, looks like no harm, no foul there. Everything good to go with that car. And quick caution here, lap number 5. It gives these drivers just an opportunity to kind of think about what's going on, what's the race car doing, and maybe come up with a little bit of a game plan.
Yes, Paul, and just listening into the driver's audio here, seems like everybody just was a little bit looser than they intended to be there in these opening laps, and Preston Peary being one of them, doing everything he could not to run into Trevor Absher there when he hit the apron. But other than that, it is just status quo up front. You saw Tommy Kelly catch the lead off that outside. He is sitting first. Second is Kenny Cappula in that or the Cappula in the number 77 machine, that Spire machine. Eric Kling here in the 51 sitting third. Fourth is Wayne Bowen in the 11, and rounding out your top 5 is Caven Ruff. Is it Kevin or Caven here, Paul?
It's Caven Ruff from Tillin Smith there in 6th. Easy enough for me to say. Tyler Smith in 6th. I'm done. I'm retired. I quit. Dave Douthwaite 7th. Sean Rhodes, Trevor Absher, last season's champion, and Drew Moffitt rounding out the top 10 here. Still early on, though. Lap number 6 in the books. 100 laps on the docket here tonight, and these guys very, very clean racers, and they do have a 17-point incident cap here for this race and all of the races here on Wednesday night in the Lugz Cup Series. Had a little bit of a mishap a few weeks ago, went a little bit into overtime a couple of times, but the race officials doing what they think is going to entertain the masses as much as they can, and anytime you get one of those incident points, it counts here in the iRacing service, and once you get up to the 17 marker, you'll be ejected from the race. So trying to keep the racing clean here, and the shows have been pretty fantastic here over the past couple of weeks, all season long. These guys in here for their 2nd season here with us with the formerly titled Fatheads Cup Series, now the Lugz Cup Series, and you can check out all those race replays over on our YouTube page. Just do a quick search for Verdane TV. Over 550 live shows on demand at your fingertips. Watch them on your phone, your smart TV, hook it up to a projector, watch it on the laptop. Do whatever it is you got to do and join the masses and be entertained here. And we've got some exciting stuff coming up this fall, this winter. Just updated the schedule, working with the new Google Calendar. Wes, thank you so much for introducing me to that. Getting all that the schedule updated. Neps is coming back October 5th, Daytona. We got a couple of shows here with the Liberty Racing League, or Liberty Racing Series, as it were. We got the Bottle Rocket 350 working on all of the details for that, working on the press release, actually right now as we speak. Well, I'm calling the action here. I was working on it before. But green flag is in the air, racing once again here at Chicagoland Speedway. Lap number 8, side by side for the lead.
Little bit of a bunch up in the back. Drew Moffitt in the 52 didn't go, and that kind of bunched up the field. However, nobody made contact. They kept it going, but they are wrecking further in the back. The 43 of, Wade Palmer, he wipes out the 2. Who gets into the 14? The 18 of Jimmy Absher's involved. Big chunk. The 2 makes more contact with the 43. Big chunk into 1 and 2 straight up here on the restart here, Paul. We're going to get a quick replay here for you, but it looks like to me, Paul, we're going to be looking at the 43 and the 15 make an initial contact, and then it's just calamity going into 1.
Yeah, Skittles all over the racetrack. Jimmy Absher and that number 18 Kyle Busch paint scheme having a rough go of it here on the restart. We'll take a peek at it, and we'll take a look. We got Cheerios all over the racetrack, too, and some Hamburger Helper. Man, I really should have had dinner before we started the race, but there's the contact between the 15 and the 43. The 43 goes up into the 18. We got to switch camera angles. There you see the 2 jumping on down, crossing a few lanes of traffic, gets into the 24 car, backs into the wall, slaps into the 43 car. 43 comes down into the 9. Just a tough break for a few cars mid-pack on back. Looks like the 2 car, Bobby Justice, going to pull into the garage area, as well as the 17 of Warren Young. A couple of other drivers going to come down pit road and see if they can get some of this damage repaired, and that's going to be the 18 included. There you see Jimmy Absher, the father of the championship winner last year. So tough break for the 18 team.
All right, Paul. So we are early in this race, only 10 laps in right now, and already a couple quick cautions. We know that cautions typically breed cautions, usually not so much at these larger intermediate mile and a half tracks such as Chicagoland, but nonetheless, you can already see, ladies and gentlemen, these cars are a little loose here in the start. It's not taking much to get them out of control. We've seen some top drivers like Perrier just kind of get a little out of hand, but able to catch it back up, but not the luck there for the driver in the 43 of Wade Palmer, the fourth as well. Again, is Bobby Justus in the number 2 was caught up in that. Wade Palmer, the fifth, is the 24s down pit road. He may have had something as well, not too sure. We know Jimmy Absher in the 18 is all crunkled up. And Paul, I don't believe they have any fast repairs either in this league. So what you got is what you got.
Correct, and that's why you see probably got about a half a dozen, 4 or 5 cars down on a pit road. There you see Derek Cook, both of the Palmers, Wade Palmer the fourth and fifth down there, and it looks like they're trying to work out that 2 car of Bobby Justice, but that car is pretty much toast. So I don't know. We'll see what they can do. Jimmy Absher gets a little bit of sheet metal repair, but he's going to jump back out on track. He's going to have to restart towards the back of the pack, and as we cross the stripe here, I believe lights out on the iRacing pace car. We'll give it a few moments to see what it does there, and indeed it does. So quick cautions here at Chicago. Good news for the fans. Back to green flag racing as quickly as possible. And one thing to keep in mind here, Wes, it is build day here with the iRacing service. Every quarter or so, iRacing will come out and they'll do a big update to the tracks, a lot of graphics, and sometimes they'll go in and tweak the cars just a little bit or tweak the track. So these guys may actually be racing here with a different feel than what they've practiced over the past 7 days.
Yeah, that's the downside of racing on build days, because you have literally a fresh, brand new race car that you have never practiced. You don't know what it's going to do, kind of like what the Cup Series has been doing for the last year and a half. So it's very similar to what real NASCAR has been doing when you're racing on a build day. You don't get a single lap of practice. So you could take whatever notes you have from previous races and previous practice sessions and throw them out the window, because now you got a fresh, clean slate. So, all right, and now we're about to see the pace car head down pit road. And again, your leader, Tommy Kelly, I believe he chose the outside on this restart, leaving the inside open to Kenny Cappula as you see the pace car head down pit road. Leader fires, and we are back green flag racing here at Chicagoland. As great start there by Kelly and that number 3 machine. He's able to clear him before even getting into turn 1 as the field fires on down. The whole shot, though, going to the number 3 of Tommy Kelly.
And there you can see breaking away out front by a couple of car legs, but still 2 by 2 through the rest of the field as they thunder on down to turns 3 and 4. A little bit slow on the go for a couple of drivers about mid-pack, just getting the cars up, or the tires rather, up to snuff. And there you can see a little bit close there for the 77 and the 11 of Wayne Bowen, but they get that all sorted out to 51 of Klink, shooting on down below onto the apron. Not out of bounds here. It's a white line, not a yellow like Daytona Talladega. So you'll see a lot of these drivers try and get down there and utilize every inch of the racetrack that they potentially can. And we see that happening with the 51 car. Now under attack from the 96 of Tyler Smith, who's up 9 spots.
Great battles all over this track, as right now our top 5 has kind of settled in, and almost I'd say throughout the top 10 has settled in, with Michael Miller and the 48 machine settling in, with Trevor Absher right on his bumper in the 19. He's going to try to figure out his way up and around and into the top 10. You know, Trevor Absher, Paul, he is one that he shows patience when he needs to, but he doesn't like riding around the back too often. And now we see the 48 of Miller looking low on Douthwaite, wanting to pick up that 9 position here in 3 and 4.
From 7 or 8 cars, single file. There you see on the screen the big wide shot, and the battle is for 8th on back. And you can see the 8 car up in the mix. Kevin Ruff, Michael Miller, Trevor Absher, Dave Douthwaite, Sean Rhodes, all in a pack, trying to get advantage, take advantage of each other. But they're also trying to see what those cars are doing and how those drivers are handling those cars as we work lap number 15 already here in the books. And it's one of those racetracks, especially with the build coming out here today. Big run there for the 19 car, last season's champion. But it's one of those deals that these guys are trying to sort everything out and figure out how everybody's doing to see if they can use, take some notes for later on here in the race.
All right, and word has been given out to Sean Rhodes, the driver of the 42 machine. A little bit of connection issues. He has been giving his final warning. If that car doesn't, if his connection doesn't start clearing up and the blinking doesn't stop, you might see Sean Rhodes having to take a drive-through. So that's one of the things here when it comes to online racing that is different from real life. You have a connection issue. If your connection has an issue, these drivers don't watch out on the track, causing a big incident, so you might have to take a pass-through. So just one of those, just another thing to throw into the mix of it all. So
very similar to almost real life if you're having some kind of electronic or electrical issue with the car, and it's hard to really kind of dial it in. There's a lot of different things that could cause that internet connection issue, and we've seen it happen on Verdane TV many times here in the headquarters as well, doing the streams here from the old barn house, and we've seen a lot of drivers, a lot of big name drivers struggle with connection issues as well. So it's tough to diagnose, especially when you're in the virtual race car. So a lot of times these drivers will try and just make it through the race, kind of survive and give everybody a little bit of room. It looks like it has sorted out just a bit here. So good news for the 42 team. They're still in this fight as we work lap number 18.
Paul, that battle for the 5th position has heated up as the Guy Bonifield in the 33. First we've seen said his name today. He has worked his way up into the top 5. He was able to get around Ed Boyles Jr. And now Ed Boyles is Tyler Smith in the 96 machine. He's going to be the next one in his rearview mirror, setting him in the crosshairs. So, Paul, looks like we're getting a nice green flag run started up here. Something that these guys wanted to start this race and finally got the opportunity. And now we are getting word that Sean Rhodes is going to be heading down pit road because of the connection issues. So you're about to see the 42 machine head down pit road, and he's guaranteed to fall down at least one lap. Tough break.
And there you see peeling off pit road. Actually looks like he's just going to let the field on by, so that may very well be the penalty there. But the 33 car, made mention, Guy Bonifield, up 17 positions here since qualifying 20 laps ago. Biggest mover here, Joshua Nolan up 17 spots in the 13th position. Ken Ellert up 11 spots as well. So some of these drivers working their way up through the field very, very quickly. And that's one of the things that's really going to help out come pit stop time, especially if we end up with a green flag stop here. It's looking, and I want to knock on wood, looking like we've got a long green flag run running.
All right, as things are starting to kind of calm down, I guess you can say, we can go a little bit through the field. How's that sound, Paul?
I dig it. Up front, that number 3 car, 2-time winner so far this season, Tommy Kelly, very, very strong on these big tracks and doing an awesome job out front. You can see he's out front by about 0.7 of a second, 3/4 of a second or so, kind of back and forth depending on which part of the track they're on. But that 3 car looking mighty, mighty strong up front right now.
And sitting second place is Kenny Cappula. He started on the pole in that number 77 Spider machine, and he's been battling his butt off so far in second, doing everything he can to hold on to it. But right now he's kind of got himself in a little bit of an island in between first and third, setting sail coming out of pole.
Kenny Cappula gave us probably one of the most entertaining interviews we've had here on Verdane TV with Randy the Plumber last season. Check that out on the YouTube for sure. Eric Kling, last week's winner, number 51 car, running in the 3rd position, about 2 seconds back from the leader. Kind of racing his own race right now. He does have the 11 car of Bowen, Wayne Bowen right behind him, but not really pushing up too much pressure right now. That U.S. Army car looking mighty, mighty fast.
As we cycle through, we got the number 11 of Wayne Bowen driving that Toyota Camry through the trioval here, has his eye set on Eric Kling. He's been setting sail. He's running 31.5 compared to the leader's 31.4, so just barely off the leader's pace. Not too far off, but keeping that nose clean, setting his eyes on the top 3 here.
And rounding out the top 5 is that number 5 car, the HendrickCars.com, and the points leader, Ed Boyles Jr., doing a great job this season. Very, very consistent throughout the first 5 races, and showing exactly what he needs to do here, a quarter way through this race here at Chicagoland, holding on to the top 5. And taking a look at the schedule, don't believe has any wins yet on the season, but 3 top 5s, 5 top 10s in 5 starts this season. So already has 5 bonus points heading into the championship, into the playoffs, and relatively clean too, only 33 incident points throughout the season. And he's got a 10-point lead over Tim Worman Jr. And that's a name we haven't said all night so far. Tim Wortman Jr. just taking a peek. I don't even see Tim in the field here tonight. So potentially some issues with the 00 camp. May very well have something to do with the iRacing build here tonight. But Tim Wortman not in the field.
For the Bobby Justus fans and the number 2 who was involved in that accident on lap 10, he has made his way back on the track. He's basically just out here just logging some laps, doing what he has to do to pick up some points. Currently 15 laps down, but he has made his way back on the track to just log some laps. So great job by that crew to get that car out here and at least drivable to pick up any positions that he can here in the future as we come across lap 26. But Paul, when the track and the race starts to get spread out like this, you don't see as much passing, but this is when the strategy comes in. Tires start to wear. You see these cars really slip and slide, and you have to start making the decision. How soon do you want to pit? Because the tire wear here, the tire fall off, before this build at least, was pretty I wouldn't call it severe, but it was definitely noticeable. So it's going to be interesting to see how all these strategies work out. If you're, say, 4th, 5th position and you're a few tenths off the leader, you need to pit a little earlier than he does, try to pick up some spots and hope for a caution to come out that works out in your favor.
And that may very well be the plan here for the number 33, a Guy Bonifield, giving up a top 5 position, top 10 position to come down pit road. And I don't know if this is a scheduled stop or not. I'm not entirely sure what the fuel window is for these cars here. 31 cars made the start here at the 27th position is Guy Bonifield down pit road right now. 27 cars still on the lead lap. Check that. Now 26 is Guy Bonifield in that 33 car. Goes 1 lap down to our leader on pit road. But most of these drivers still in the race. The number 2 car, Bobby Justus, as you made mention, trying to essentially see and hope somebody falls out of this race. But it's looking like long green flag run implications here. The top 5 all spread out, and just kind of taking a look here through the most exciting battles on the track. There you see the 47 dipping on down underneath the 8 car, and that's going to be from right outside the top 10 in 11th spot. Kevin Ruff holding on to it. Alonzo King Jr. in that 47 car, he wants that spot.
And just like that, caution is out. Big jump. It looks like the 30, the 38, and the 15, Ryan Kling in the 15 car and the 38 make contact. Looks like coming out of turn 4, the 38 just hooks the 15, sending him eating the wall. That's got to be, oh man, that's second incident 15's been caught up in. That's not going to look good for him. Boy, oh boy, let's get a replay up on the board for you.
Yeah, the Kong Beerbong instant replay once again coming up at you here, and rewinding the tapes between the 15 and the 38. It looks like they were able to drive away, but there was definitely some big time right front damage on that 15 car, and it looks like, as we watch it in reverse here in the studio, just a quick spin and a big contact with that outside wall. But here's the replay itself. Keep an eye on that 15 car. Not clear, as the spotter may or may not have noticed. Quick 360 for the 15 car. He comes down. Seems like everything's still good to go with that car. Big time damage on the sheet metal in the Marines number 15 car for Ryan Kling, but keeps that thing going, and he's going to keep marching through the rest of the race, but definitely going to have to come down pit road to get that car worked on. And speaking of pit road, it's looking like everybody's coming down at this point.
The whole field is making their way down pit road, so definitely in the fuel window. Now, we saw that 33 machine pit. That's really going to play. It's going to see if Guy Bonifield stays out or not. And it looks like Guy Bonifield is going to stay out, and he might as well. He only pitted 1 lap before that happened. So if anybody benefited from this, it was Guy Bonifield in that 33, and we were just talking about that before he pitted. Strategy. Looks like the strategy is looking to pay out for Bonifield.
100% Drew Moffitt, the 52.
Actually, I'm wrong, Paul. He was actually caught down a lap, so he actually got the lucky dog. I apologize. That did not work out the way that he needed it to. We needed everybody to pit and then have that happen. So tough break there. But again, it's all about that strategy. But coming out of pit road first, it looks like the 51 Air Clean comes out first.
Yeah, and Drew Moffitt in the 52 car stays out on track. We'll see if he just wants to lead a lap or if he's going to try a little bit of strategy here. Here, Chicagoland, where the tire wear is a big thing, especially on that left rear as these drivers attack the racetrack. We'll see if he comes down pit road this next time by, and we can take a quick peek here at the pit stop times coming off of pit road. There you see it. Everybody in the top couple in the 14, 15. There you see the 52 is going to come down and get some service to his car. But Eric Kling, everybody taking 4 tires here, it looks like. So just a quick stop there for the Kling team.
All right, so it's going to be interesting here. Tommy Kelly, this is going to be the first time he's going to be in dirty air. So Tommy Kelly's going to, it all depends on dirty air because Eric Kling is going to be able to choose what line he wants. I'm assuming just off these restarts, Kling in the 51 is going to choose that outside, but we'll see what he ends up doing. But so far, what your top 5 is going to be looking like is Kling, Kelly, Cappula, Bowen, and then Ed Boyles Jr. He's going to be lined up in the 6th position. I'm trying to see who else we have. We have Joshua Battles. He's in front of the field. However, Joshua was lining up to get the pass by. Then you're going to have Michael Miller, Tyler Smith, Kaven Ruff, and then Wade Palmer the 5th. That is going to be your top 10. And I believe next time around we're taking the one to go.
And we're going to be able to see just how well that Sasquatch juice is going to work for the first time on the inside. Going to be restarting on the 3rd position. Inside row 2, Kenny Cappula up a little booth-to-car communication here with the 77 team. Kenny, you got us?
Yeah, I got you.
Man, that 77 car is bad fast here tonight. Looks like you got everything under control. Have you got anything to get around these guys up in front of you?
You know, Tommy's fast tonight. I put a lot of work in this week, and I should have chose the high line off the start. I knew it was probably going to be a little bit faster, but I'm just being patient, try not to wreck out, and keep the car under me. I'll be there at the end.
Lights are off on the pace car, getting them lined up 2 by 2. Time to go back to work here, but we'll see what the 77 car's got. Good luck in the rest of the race.
Thanks, man.
It's driver number 77 of Richard Childress Racing, Kenny Cappula. Fast here all season long, very fast here at Chicagoland as we work 1/3 distance. Gonna get the restart on the lap 35, and there you see it again. The lights are off on the iRacing non-manufacturer specific pace car, lined up 2 by 2 all the way through as we work down the backstretch, coming through 3 and 4. He'll take that left-hand turn down to the safety of pit road, and we will turn these drivers loose once again, this time with fresh tires.
Right, as you see the pace car making its way through 3 and 4. Last time we saw a caution breed another quick caution. So that old saying, caution breed caution, boy, is that true. Let's see if it rings true here as we see the pace car head coming out of turn 4. Going to make that hard left turn down into pit road as it does. Waiting for the leader to fire. And we are green. See if that top line is able to prevail, as we've seen it a couple other times that we've been able to start. So far, they're still neck and neck going down into turn 1. Paul, they're opening up the bottom here. Almost a three wide look as the 77 tried to stick his nose down in there, but Kling not able to get that outside hooked up as we saw Kelly do earlier in the race. Kling will have to settle down into 2nd place, giving Tommy Kelly the whole shot again going into 3.
Kenny Cappula dropping backwards just a little bit there in the 77 car. A little bit of a wiggle there for the 51. Gets backed up to the front bumper of the 11 car of Bowen, and we've seen these drivers make a couple of starts and restarts now, and it seems like everybody's got it all sorted out. Everybody restarted in the right gear, and not as much tire spin as we saw, a little bit as we go 3 wide now for 4th place on back, and the 5, a couple of Hendrick Motorsports teammates, the 5 and the 48 going back and forth, and they've got Kenny Cappula up in there as well, and another Richard Childress car, the number 8 car of Caven Ruff. Mentioned him a couple of times earlier on here tonight, but this is the part of the race where these drivers are going to start experimenting. As you see, the front 4 drivers have kind of broken away. They've got a little bit of a train bumper to bumper, but a little bit of space in between there, and then a gaggle of cars here from 4th on back. But drivers, now that they've got these fresh tires and they're kind of set up, big time loose there for Kenny Cappula. Holds on to it, and everything A-OK for that 77, but he's going to drop back a couple of more positions here. But this is the part of the race where I was starting to say, Wes, these drivers experimenting, working with different lines, working with the drafting, seeing how quickly they can close up on these cars. All these notes that they're trying to make mental note of and keep in the virtual, not the virtual notebook, but the mental notebook for later on in the race. When you see you guy, when we get closer to 5, maybe 10 laps to go, these drivers are going to start making some pretty crazy moves, and it's all going to be stuff that they've kind of tried out earlier on here in the race.
Great battles here all over the track as we see Cappula get a little loose there a couple laps ago, but here's Michael Miller in that number 48 machine battling away with the number 5 Ed Boyles. He wants that 4th position. They're side by side through 1 and 2. That is your closest battle as the top 3 is kind of spaced themselves out now, but now it looks like that 5 gets the run on the outside of Boyles Jr., leaving the 48 on the bottom. That's actually going to open up the door for Ken Ellert in that number 23 machine. He's able to get the outside hooked up. Looking like right now on new tires, that bottom just is not where to be. The 23 clears, and now here comes the 77 of Cappula. He puts his nose up by the door of that 4 and that 8 as he brings them down side by side through 1 and 2. Unfortunately, man, that 48 is just struggling there in the bottom of Miller. Miller has a little bit of a hole here he can jump into as he does so, as he cuts off the 47, able to stop the pain, stop the bleeding a little bit, and settle now back down into that 7th position.
Yeah, it's really tough, and you and I have both been in this situation. We're both big fans of the big racetracks, the super speedways, and things like that. And when you've got a line that's working, like here at Chicagoland, a high line, very obviously, early on anyway, in the first half of this race, as we're 9 laps here from halfway at Chicagoland, the high line work, and that's where everybody wants to be. And sometimes you feel like your car's faster, you feel like you've got the car hooked up, and you want to get on that bottom side, and you end up going the wrong way. You end up heading towards the back of the pack, and that's, well, usually where I am. That's why I'm up here. Oh, big contact! That's how you know you and I work together.
Oh, there they go more! The 52's in it, the 34's in it. They're freaking bowling balls going down. And all the 4 get a Pete Woodrum ARCA breaks through it. The 1 car is breakdancing through the front stretch as Keith Hume Sr. Lord have mercy, the 1 is basically on fire like Ricky Bobby. Big trouble here on the front stretch on lap 41 to 42. Man, oh man, that number 1 machine is done. Paul, it all started up there with it looks like the 47 and the 48, and then just calamity happens, and not a good day, man. But what about that 4 machine of Chris Spear? Not exactly sure what he was doing, or I'm sorry, of Pete Woodrum. Just full throttling it through it, not hitting 1, not hitting 2, but almost 3 cars. Man, big time trouble.
Yeah, and we're taking a look now at the Kong Beerbong instant replay. There's the initial contact, and you can see some of the drivers just trying to avoid the wreck and, well, just not doing the best job of it. You can see the 1 car gets tagged a couple of times. That South Point Casino car, Ken Hube Sr., looking like a roulette wheel, spinning around on his top like that. Sticks the landing back there on all 4s, but you can see some black smoke coming out from underneath that car, some big time damage for the number 4 of Pete Woodrum here as well. We're going to back the tapes up one more time.
Can we go in car with the 4 and see if he at least tried to slow down?
We can definitely do that. The miracles of the internet here, and the onboard with the number 4 car. We'll listen in on the throttle, and you can see this is where the incident happens. Goes down low, burps the throttle a bit, and now just right up through it. Just kind of going where the smoke is, and unfortunately that usually doesn't work.
He kind of just said, "Mommy, wow, I'm a big kid now," and just tried to drive through it, and it just did not work. And in iRacing, we call that ARCA brakes. And for those who don't know what ARCA brakes is, that's when you don't brake when you should, and you do exactly what the Ford just did. So tough break for the 1 car. I'm sure that he threw up a few times in his helmet with all those spins, and a lot of heated drivers here on pit road along on the track. But Pete Woodrum, Michael Miller is not looking good. Drew Moff in the 52. Jimmy Apsher's trying to get more damage fixed. David Douthwaite is heated in the 34 machine. He's obviously down there getting service. Tough break, and that's really starting to thin the herd.
Yeah, 100%. We got to keep in mind that incident cap here with the Loose Lugz Cup Series. The race officials adding that in earlier on in the season. Once these drivers hit 17 incident points, they get ejected from the race automatically. Nothing any of the race officials can actually do.
Hey Paul, can we possibly get the number 30 Douthwaite down here real quick, please?
Yeah, we can give that a shot. We can do that. Pull up as soon as we can find which team radio he's on.
The top one there, buddy. RCR. I'd love to get a quick word with him and get some first person a point of view of his. Mr. Douthwaite, you got a copy?
I do, buddy. What's going on?
Hey, Dave, I know it's getting heated inside that helmet. Things are not going the way you want it to, and now you found yourself on pit road with tons of damage to that number 34 machine. Walk us through what happened there.
Yeah, so, honestly, I think the update today may have had an impact on my setup because I've been super fast all week. So I've been driving a car that's not handling very well. And then, I saw them getting squirrely up there, and I thought they were going to stay low. And so I decided to go where they weren't. And the old adage is you should go where they are, and that's not what I did, and I paid the price.
Now, David, you mentioned this was build day, brand new build, so your cars are handling differently. We mentioned that here in the broadcast. What does it feel like compared to what your car was before, just with this build change? What really changed?
So, according to the release notes, it doesn't look like anything changed, but I'm definitely noticing on corner entry, my car is not handling the well. I seem to be braking a lot looser than I was. I'm almost having to back the corners up a lot more than you even should at Chicagoland for some reason.
Got it. So, is there anything left of that 34 machine? Can you salvage a good finish?
If people continue to bring out cautions, yes. If not, I'm going to be quite the back marker.
All right, David. Well, tough break. It's good to see you back out there on the track. Hopefully you can salvage some points here.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Y'all have a good one.
All right, and that was the number 34 of David Douthwaite. David just not having the luck that he wants in that 34 machine. Wanted to get a quick word with him. Very unfortunate. However, we are back to double wide. We got one to go here. Tommy Kelly is your leader with Wayne Bowen, the number 11, starting second. Eric Kling will be on the bottom in the 51, starting third here. Fourth will be Ken Ellert again in that 23. Ed Boyles Jr. on the bottom, and then we will have Kenny Cappula in the 77. So here we go again, Paul. Re-rack them.
Re-rack them, restack them, and let them loose one more time. And we got to give a shout out to that 23 car of Ken Ellert, up 22 spots from where he qualified, currently running in the 4th spot. So that Toyota bad fast here tonight, the DoorDash car, making some good time, making up some good times, and deliveries all early here tonight, or whatever DoorDash does there. But there goes the pace car. He's going to go down to the safety of pit road one more time, letting these drivers get everything sorted out. Lined up 2x2 all the way through. Barney in the flag stand throws that green flag. Racing once again here at Chicagoland. Lap number 47, still side by side up front. Bowen wants to lead.
Wrecking in the back. The 37 is involved into it. The 6 is involved into it. Wreck in the back. Paul, if I could catch you up real quick, looked like Joshua Nolan in the 6. First time we've said his name. Bounces off the... looks like he bounced off the wall all on his own, comes down on the 9 machine of Ian Yeager, another driver we haven't said much of, and then innocent victim as well is that 37 of 37 Ian Yeager. I'm sorry, the 9 car was also involved in that of Matt Mackin. So, man, these cautions are breeding cautions, and that one was a quick one, Paul.
Yeah, take a look at the Kong Beerbong instant replay there, and you can see the little 3-wide action, and either the spotter wasn't paying attention or the driver not paying attention to the spotter, because it's really difficult and, mostly impossible to put 2 cars in the same spot at the same time, even in the simulation here in iRacing. But tough break for those drivers. Looks like everybody is able to drive on away, so that's good news, at least for those guys, but definitely very frustrating, as every once in a while you'll kind of hear the driver chatter through Wes's headset. He likes to, I don't want to say Wes likes to stir the pot, but definitely likes to pay attention to the driver information here, and we can actually see that's going to give the lead over to Wayne Bowen in the number 11 car. Tommy Kelly slipping on back to second, Kling to third, Boyles the points leader in fourth, and Ellert holding on to the top 5. But these restarts, man, we talked to Dave Douthwaite, it's very difficult to see what the car is going to do. And a lot of times with these iRacing updates, they come out late afternoon, early evening. So everything you thought you had the night before or even earlier on in the afternoon, you put the wheel up to go out and take care of whatever it is you've got to do. You come back, you sit down, race time, and everything's different. So a lot of these drivers struggling to adapt to the changes that are made to the track or the car. And we heard mention there's nothing really in the notes itself that sticks out as a change, but every once in a while it's just a minor tweak. It could have been anything from the tires to the racing surface to the way the car itself is set up. There's so many different things that iRacing is able to kind of change and tweak as they need to. They do a fantastic job, and definitely check it out. If this is something you want to do from home, iRacing.com. They're always having some kind of new promotion for new members. Check it out. It costs you about $13 a month. Comes with some cars, some tracks, and as everything else, you can download additional content for a couple of extra bucks as we cross the stripe to take lap number 50 halfway here at Chicagoland. But a lot of different racing styles, a lot of different racing personalities up in iRacing, and it's one of those deals you can jump on, turn a couple of laps, or you can join a league. I know, Wes, you're getting ready to kick off the next season here for the Liberty Racing League. If you got your notes in front of you, man, talk to us about that a little bit.
Yeah, and you're speaking of. It's funny you mentioned that. You sit down, you set up your car, you get up, you do something, and then you come back and it's a completely different setup. You can just imagine how Bruce Jenner's wife felt like after the doctor's appointment. That's exactly how it feels sometimes when you're getting one of these cars after that build. You leave it one way, you come back, and it's another way. And that's exactly how this felt. But yeah, Liberty Racing League, man, we run on Monday nights. We got an Xfinity series starting up in a few weeks that is going to be running large tracks such as your super speedways and Auto Club in Michigan. And it's actually going to be very team-based like you see here, but instead of using, the NASCAR teams, everybody has their own team. So it's something very similar to what you're going to see here, actually, with loose lug nuts for our Xfinity series. But we have Super Speedway series, Cup series. We got a lot of cool stuff for Liberty Racing League. Feel free to check us out on Facebook, Liberty Racing League. Paul, I appreciate you letting me plug that in. But we're about to go green flag racing here back at the Lugz Cup series, as it looks like the number 11 here of Wayne Bowen, he's going to call for the inside, and that means that's going to allow Tommy Kelly, and somehow that number 11 of Wayne Bowen was able to steal the lead away by the time that caution came out from Kelly. And quick note as well, Nolan did not blame it on his spotter. He claimed all fault.
And that's one of the cool things about the drivers here in the Loose Lugz Cup Series, and really all of the leagues that work here with us on Verdane TV. Everybody is very respectable as a driver. If they know they messed up, they'll kind of shout it out in the driver chat, and these drivers have a couple of different ways to communicate kind of back and forth with us, and we're able to sometimes tap in. It's basically, there's an open channel where all the drivers can talk to each other and listen in to race officials as well, and then they've got separate team channels that they can chat strategy and plans and all that good stuff, and do a little trash talking as well. And then we've always got the booth to car communication that we try to implement every now and again. But heading on down to turn number 3, the lights are off, and the iRacing pace car lined up 2x2 all the way through the field. The number 11 down on the bottom side. Wes, you mentioned it, he's going to take the bottom. Hasn't been the quickest way around the racetrack, even though it is the shortest here tonight. Tommy Kelly starting second, Eric Kling, Ed Boyles Jr., and Ken Ellert rounding out the top 5. There goes the pace car. One more again. We're going to get a restart. And we're waiting, and green flag is in the air. Couple of drivers spinning the tires, going up through.
7 of Chris Spear gets messed up there in the bottom, front and rear for Chris Spear. It looked like the Eric Kling machine of that 51 did not go, and now the inside line all messed up with Spear getting the worst end of it in the number 7. But back up front, they're still side by side for the lead as that free machine of Tommy Kelly. We've seen it doing on every single restart. He's been able to grab that whole spot as he's able to do so here. And that also opens up the door on the outside of the 5 of Ed Boyles as they head out of 4.
One more spot for that number 5 car, heading in the right direction, trying to get the lead, but he'll take second for right now. And still side by side back there from 3rd on back, 4th on back. And these drivers trying to get to the high side, really. It seems like the high side, the middle groove are very, very fast as we go around this racetrack. And these drivers are starting to see that, especially on these restart. A great start for the Tommy Kelly machine in the number 3. And he is pulled away. He's got about a half second, almost 3/4 of a second lead as it crosses the stripe. And everybody else trying to see what's going to work here. Trevor Apsher moving that 19 car up. He is in the top 5. Last season's champion. Very young, very talented, very motivated driver. He wants to go back-to-back ships in that 19 team and hasn't won yet this season, but definitely going to be able to see this 19 car in victory lane, I think, at one point or another this season. And there you see the 51. He's going to try that bottom side down below the 8 car.
That is the first battle on the track right now. We saw that 8 come and go of Rough all race. We've seen times where he just kind of went to the back, and now we're seeing him really hold his own here in the top 10 as Kling still works the bottom in that 51 machine. He's able to do so. Kling able to take that spot, moves up to 6th. And you mentioned Trevor Absher. He has a little bit of right rear damage. Not exactly sure where that came from, but doesn't seem to hinder him too much. Now, right behind those two, Tyler Smith looking low on Cappula in that 77. Cappula also with a little bit of rear end damage. I'm assuming it's going to be from one of these multiple incidents that we have. You see the field come around the lap of the one car. But right now it seems like, all right, they're starting to catch their breath again. This has all the feels of another long green flag run, which, believe me, these leaders want to see.
And a lot of fans at home might be wondering, why the heck is Keith Hume Sr. in that one car putt-putting around the track? He's gained 4 positions over the past couple of cautions with drivers falling out of this race. He is the first car multiple laps down, so if he does get the wave by or wave around, if we do come out in the caution, he'll get one of those laps back, but still trying to think big picture, trying to get every point that he potentially can, because each position on the racetrack is a point towards the championship, and that's going to be something that all of these drivers are working on. We can see the 33 is actually coming off of pit road once again, and we saw this earlier on. Guy Bonifield coming down pit road early, giving up a relatively decent spot earlier on, gave up a top 5 to come down under green flag conditions. So we'll see what the plan is for the 33, but still Tommy Kelly up front again, about 3 seconds, 3/4 of a second rather of a lead. The number 5 and the 11 still back and forth here for second. And the 24 car, Wade Palmer the 5th, working his way up towards the front of the field. He's having a good run in that 24 car. He holds on to 4th.
Chris Spear fans, after that mishap on the restart, he has headed down pit road with quite a bit of damage. I'm sure he wants to get that car back to the point where at least he can keep pace. We see a couple cars on the apron. We see Douthwaite on the apron here. He's definitely way off pace. It's not going well for him. Other than that, it is status quo up front. However, that number 5 machine of Ed Boyles Jr. now battling for second with the 11 of Wayne Bowen. Ed Boyles Jr. had it for a second, but here's Bowen in that 11 trying to get it back, heading into 3. But again, Paul, it looks like that outside line is just the dominant line at the moment. But this is exactly what Tommy Kelly wants to see. He wants to see these guys battle it out, so he's already got a really fast race car. This is allowing him to pull away with a little less pressure each and every lap for him to hit his marks and just kind of relax. And as a leader of a race, and already pulled out to about a second, that's exactly what you want.
A little bit of a war of attrition here at Chicagoland. A big, wide racetrack, mile-and-a-half racetrack. Lots of room to race, lots of room to maneuver, but there's also lots of room to wreck. And unfortunately, with as fast as this racetrack is, if you hit big, if you hit the wall or hit another car, you end up hitting it big. And a couple of cars still down on pit road getting service to the machines. The 33 car down and away. Chris Spear down and away gets some service. He gets everything kind of worked out. Yeah, they got some tires on that car in any sense. Dave Douthwaite, Keith Hume, Pete Woodrum, Alonzo King, Bobby Justice, Wayne Palmer the 4th, and Warren Young all down in the garage area trying to see if they can duct tape any of the parts and pieces back to those race cars and get back out on track to see if they can gain any more positions. But it looks like the one car actually did pull down into the garage as well. So he might be done for the evening. The motor may have finally gone kaput on that car. And still Tommy Kelly out front, as you made mention. He's up over a second lead over Ed Boyles Jr., the points leader in second, who's still trying to hold off Bowen. Bowen trying a couple of different lines, trying to make that bottom side work. But as we get longer and longer into this run here, Wes, I don't think the tires are going to hold up, especially that left rear tire on the bottom side.
Just calling out on the radio, sacrificing the 6th position will be the 77 of Kenny Cappula. Not exactly sure. He seemed like he was holding his own. But the 77 now heading down pit road. I haven't heard of why, but the 77 is heading down pit road, so that's a tough break unless he gets another break. I don't see how this is going to work out to his advantage. But we're going to take a look and see exactly why he's heading down pit road.
Yeah, very, very fast car and very confident with the abilities of that 77 car. And you can see he's down on that first pit stall. Looking real quick, it doesn't look like there's any damage on there, so he may very well just be coming down, doing a quick short pit, knowing that he can make it the rest of the distance here on the fuel, and that's a big gamble here. We've seen 4 or 5 caution flags throughout the night here at Chicagoland, so it's one of those deals. If it works out, it's going to make him look like the smartest guy at the track, but if it doesn't work out, you kind of look back Monday morning quarterback, or with these guys Thursday morning quarterback. Well, why the heck did I make that decision? But you can see Ed Boyles Jr. now slow and down on the apron. He's going to come down, as well as his Hendrick Motorsports teammate Wade Palmer the fifth. So these look like they may very well be scheduled stops, Wes.
42 of Sean Rhodes just called that he's coming in as well. So this is I guess, trying to short pit, maybe it may be. I'm not exactly sure what they run when it comes to fuel percentage, but I know they can't already be out, so this may just be one of those strategy moves. So we've yet to see one of the leaders make that move, as Tommy Kelly is just setting sail, as we just heard. The 23 of Ken Eller is heading in, as well as the 14 and the 16. So you're about to see quite a bit of green flag stops, as 33 of Guy Bonifield just blew up, so he is done for the night. Unfortunate, very unfortunate for Guy Bonifield. His day is being cut short. So a little bit of strategy we're seeing here, Paul, at Chicagoland Speedway.
And as these drivers come down pit road early, there's still fuel in the tank, so it's going to take less time to fill these cars up. And we may very well see a couple of drivers try and take 2 tires to save a little bit of time on pit road, and a little bit of time on pit road is a lot of time on the racetrack. And that may very well be some of the strategies here. We'll take a peek once everything kind of cycles on through. But Tommy Kelly now all by his lonesome out there, almost a 2-second lead over Eric Kling in the 51 car, who's back now in second. Trevor Absher slides on up into third. Tyler Smith in the fourth, and Matt Mackin in the 9 car. After early race contact, he's up 23 spots. He's holding on to the 5th position.
Green flag stops still immencing here at Chicagoland Speedway, as the leader now, Tommy Kelly's on his way in on lap 67, coming to 68. So that's a big one there, waiting to see when the leader would come in. And again, Paul, we called it before, where sometimes you want to pit a little early to try to gain some time in the leader, and that might have been what we were seeing. As we see, the 19 is also down at Absher. The 96 has made his way down pit road, so quite a bit of the field here making their green flag stops, as that 11 car, he is now heading back out on the track and more. So right now your leader, though, is Kling in the number 51, as he makes his way around, coming out of turn 4 to take on lap 69.
Nice. Clinging on to that lead is number 51 of Eric Kling. And this is the point where you need to make a decision, Wes. Do you stay out? Do you gamble? Do you maybe potentially wait for a caution? Do you burn the tires off of the race car for an entire fuel run? Or do you join everybody else down on pit road, get the fresh tires, get the fuel, and continue on through? It's really tough call to make.
Eric just radioed in, Paul, that Eric is heading down pit road in that number 51. So he's had enough. He's led his lap. He maybe played a little bit of strategy there to get a lap led. So he's going to head down pit road, and that should relinquish the lead once it's all said and done back to Tommy Kelly. But we'll see how all this plays out.
And Matt Mackin in the 9 car are going to take the lead currently. Josh Battles now in the 41 car is up to second. Ian Yeager, the 37 car, in third. Preston Perrier, Jimmy Absher, after the early race incident, up in the 5th spot. It's great to see the Skittles car holding on to it. You see Michael Miller right in behind him. And Eric Kling is back in the 10th position, one of the drivers that has already come down pit lane. And it looks like, he's still down in pit lane. Ed Boyles Jr. has the 11th spot, and he's a little bit in front of Tommy Kelly, so we might see Ed Boyles Jr. take the lead here once this all cycles through. But we'll have to just keep an eye out. There you can see Tommy Kelly in the 3 car driving on by our leader like he's standing still, and that shows these drivers just how much the 4 fresh Goodyear tires affects the handling and the speed of these Cup cars.
See Mackin pinning it up against the wall there. The enter 3, he's got to be coming down pit road here anytime, but he has still stayed out. So yeah, you are absolutely right, Paul. That number 5 machine, he is currently he's in front of the 3. Once this cycles through, he is scheduled to be the leader, and he also pitted a little earlier than Kelly did. Now, when it comes to the space in between those two, it's not much, because here comes Kelly. He's coming up on that bumper of that 5 very quickly as they head down into 3 and 4 here. This is going to be no contest. It is completely wide open for 3. Hello, goodbye, adios, wham, bam, thank you, man. That will be your leader once this cycles out if we stay green.
Yeah, it looks like Ed Boyles Jr. struggling with the car a little bit on the high side. We saw a couple of big wiggles there. And there you see loose again in the corner. So trying to experiment with that car just a little bit, which is all good and well. It's good to know what your race car is going to do, but that's also doing a lot of damage to the left rear tire, which is very, very important here at Chicagoland Speedway. So we'll see if that ends up developing almost 3/4 of the distance through this race, the 100-lapper here at Chicagoland. At the top of the hour, you're watching the Lugz Cup Series here on Verdane TV. Showtime, Paul Strickland Jr. up here in the booth alongside Rowdy Wesley Hogue. And always great to work with you here, brother. Great action here that we're seeing with the Lugz Cup Series, and lots of action coming up here this fall and winter. Want to give a shout out to everybody watching at home, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. It's all good. Be sure to give us a like, a subscribe, a follow, a share, all that good stuff. Let your friends and family know you're watching some fake NASCAR, but real competition and real entertainment as we entertain the masses here at Verdane TV. And if you like what you see, buy yourself a t-shirt. Verdane.shop, lots of stuff going on over there. Verdane Racing, Verdane TV t-shirts, rent a race cars over there. Angry Tree Guy, they're partnered up with us. Visual Pollution is over there. Clear by 7, a new brand that we're working on as well, as we see some more green flag pit stops. But definitely check it out, Verdane.shop. $20 t-shirts, brother, you can't beat it.
All right, and it looks like our leaders is finally headed down pit road. That is going to be the number 9 machine. He has of Mackin. He's called that. He's going to be heading down pit road. So finally, he's going to relinquish the lead, as well as the 52 is going in, the 15 is going in. So we are getting some of these guys that may have pitted before. They're going to come in now, get their tires, and then also more. We got the 41 going into pit road. We got, it looks like we should probably have Nolan here in the 6 coming down pit road here soon. So it's a busy pit road. I'm surprised some of these guys are going as long as they can. Some guys that came in and pitted early, I'm not sure if they can still go the rest of the way or not. But 48 now is calling that he's coming in. That is a Miller. The 6 and Nolan's coming in. That's going to leave Yeager in action.
And it's one of those things, too, where some of these drivers came in about 5-10 laps ago, and the tires are starting to kind of come up to temperature and really start to wear just a little bit. And these drivers that are coming in now here with 24 laps to go, Michael Miller, Joshua Nolan heading down pit road. That's the 48 and the 6 car giving up their top 5 positions to come down and get some service. We're taking a peek at Tommy Kelly, who is holding on to the 3rd position. You can see the 1 car still making laps and trying to make up as many points that he potentially can here throughout the evening. But these drivers that are coming down late on in the race, they're going to end up having a little bit better tires as the run goes on and as the race gets on closer to the end. So it could potentially be a little bit of a tire strategy deal going on here, Wes, where these drivers want to have better tire wear. They want to have better tires come lap 100 to see if they can kind of motor themselves up into the front, as we see Jimmy Absher gives up 2nd place to come down pit road, leaving Ian Yeager, the lone Canadian, in the field in the 37 car, the only driver to not pit. And you can see drives down by pit road entrance one more time, so he's going to lead himself another lap.
This is probably the most Yeager expected to lead here, especially with everything that 37 has gone through. He's trying to stay out as long as he can, because I'll tell you what, if a caution comes down now, everybody's pitting again. It seems like the way the tire fall off is, you're gonna pit as soon as you can. But 37 of Ian has called in and has said, "All right, I'm pitting." That's going to relinquish the lead to the 3.
So Tommy Kelly going to end up being the leader there. You see the 37 coming on down pit road, and as we reset, you'll see the timing and scoring tower over there on the left-hand side of your screen reset itself. You get you see in all the times as the leader times kind of get adjusted as Tommy Kelly here takes the number 3 car to the point. Ed Boyles Jr. going to be 2nd, Eric Kling 3rd, Kenny Cappula up to 4th, Wade Palmer the 5th is 5th, Gavin Ruff, Trevor Absher, Tyler Smith, Sean Rhodes, and Josh Battle is going to end up rounding out the top 10. And looking on through the field, Matt Mackin, Preston Perrier, Drew Moffitt, Jamison Middlemiss, and Derek Cook rounding out the 16 drivers still on the lead lap here at Chicagoland. So a little bit of a war of attrition as this race goes on. We're seeing a couple of drivers have gotten some damage, a few wrecks here throughout the evening, a few big wrecks as well. But Tommy Kelly now getting a windshield full of a little bit of lap traffic. He's coming up on the back part of the field and some of the slower cars that may have damage as well. So we'll see. He's got some time to deal with it. 20 laps to go. He's got almost a 5-second lead over the points leader, Ed Boyles Jr., but now he's got to deal with a little bit of lap traffic here. Could potentially jam him up just a little bit.
All right, Paul, we are coming close to 15 to go here. That number 3 of Kelly has set the pace of the race for sure. He's been the one to beat. I think the furthest he's been back is second place on these restarts. He hasn't been anywhere but the front row. He's showing why, man. With this being an open setup league, you can see some of these guys really take the time and study these setups, how these cars handle. Even with the change of the build, Tommy Kelly's definitely got his car set up right as he comes up on the number 7 of Chris Spear and Derek Cook in the 14 to put them down an extra lap. So coming up in second place though is a mile back, and that is still Ed Boyles Jr. Ed Boyles Jr. struggling here to try to find pace as he's 4.5 seconds back, and then it's Eric Kling in that 51. He was the last to pit out of the fast guys, you can say, here in the top 5. And then 4th is Wade Palmer, the 5th in that number 24, and 5th is Kevin Ruff in 8. So now we got this long green flag run in, Paul. I would hate to jinx it, but I feel like this has the looks that it could go green the rest of the way. But again, I don't know how the pit strategies are. As I just heard again, the 42 of Sean Rhodes is heading down pit road. This is the second time we're seeing him pit during this green cycle. So is there more pit stops to come in? I'm not sure. However, we know Sean has had some connection issues. Maybe it is related to that, but it would be interesting to see here what exactly is going on with these pit stops.
I hate to let the cat out of the bag, but we've got ourselves a fuel mileage race going on here, and I want to ride on board here with Tommy Kelly, the leader. Listen to that. Shutting the motor off on both ends of the racetrack, trying to conserve as much fuel as he can while still getting around this lap traffic here. That 3 car is that fast, and he's trying to make himself a fuel mileage race out of this, saving as much fuel as he potentially can. You can hear him. It sounds like he's pushing that clutch in, killing the motor, dropping the RPMs down to 0 on both ends of the racetrack. Everybody else going full throttle around. So he's going to try, I think he's going to try and risk it. He's going to try and gamble and see if he can potentially stay out for 15 more laps.
Also, sounds like Kling in the 51 is saying that he's saving fuel. There's a little bit of chatter here in the driver's chat. They're talking about, just joking around, saving fuel. So there's definitely a fuel game here, Paul. You are absolutely right. Possibly the 42 said, screw this. I just want to make sure I can make it to the end. My day has been hard enough. So that may be the thing here. But we're seeing the 3 actually being passed. Joshua Nolan passing him, trying to get a lap back. So, but you think, Paul, when you got a 4.5 second lead, which now is actually 2.7, you have all the room in the world to save fuel. So why not try?
Absolutely, and you can see Kenny Cappula coming down pit road. He's going to try and get a splash of fuel and continue on through. These drivers not wanting to wait and see, not wanting to gamble to see if the yellow flag is going to come out. So these drivers expecting one more round of green flag pit stops potentially. Ed Boyles Jr. still full throttle, the points leader number 5. And you can see Tommy Kelly, that lead has dropped now from 5 seconds almost to 2.5. And it's one of those deals, Wes, where yes, the lead has shrunk. He's lost about now 2/3 or 3/5 of that lead. However, fractions, Scott Steiner math. Fractions don't ever work. Don't ever do them here on Verdane TV. But you can see Des dropped down to below a 2-second lead now at this point. But all in the meantime, Tommy Kelly's been able to save fuel on both ends of the racetrack, pushing that clutch down to the floor, dropping the RPMs, making that motor give itself a rest, not burn up the excess fuel as he motors on through the racetrack. That is going to be big. It's going to be close here with 12 laps to go. As you can see, that lead still shrinking as Ed Boyles Jr. thinks he smells blood in the water, but the 5 car may very well have to come down for a splash of fuel.
Paul, we saw earlier in this run when the 3 just blew by the 5. Maybe the 5 was already saving fuel, and he knows that he saved enough, and maybe now the 3 is. We just don't know, but we know the 5 is not saving nearly, if he is at all, as much as Kelly is. So Ken Ellert's making his way out pit road. Chris Spears made his pit stop, but now this lead look at this. The 5 is coming up high on Tommy Kelly as they're about to be 3 wide with a lap car coming out of turn 2. Now there is no gap for the lead. They are nose to tail. So as Tommy Kelly continues to try to save fuel, we know Boyles Jr. is full throttle, wide open right now. He looks on the outside of the 3 coming out of 4.
High, wide, and handsome. He's going to shoot all the way down to the apron to try and get around Tommy Kelly, and they're still trying to get around the Apsha machine. Damaged earlier on, spilled all his Skittles all over the racetrack. But you can see kind of holding up the 3 car up high. The 5 car dips on down low. Ed Boyles Jr. to the front. But again, we may have to see that 5 car down on pit road. Everybody else coming down pit road one by one. Trevor Absher, last season's champion, he's down on pit road for a splash. Tyler Smith in a 96, he's down on pit road. A couple of cars that are down a lap, they're going to top off as well. So this is going to be interesting to see as we get the 10 to go mark. Tommy Kelly still saving fuel. We're going to see if we can get another onboard shot as we thunder on down into turn number 1. There you can see, he can see the leader not saving fuel anymore. Hammered down. He's trying to get back up to the back bumper of that 5 car. Knows he needs to get around him. And
5 is coming in. The 5 is coming in. Sorry to cut you off. The 5 of Boyles Jr. just called in that he is pitting in, Paul. So he did not save enough if he did any saving. So he is on his way down in the pit road as well as the 14. But the leader relinquishes the lead back to Kelly. Ed Boyles Jr. heading down pit road.
And that right there, Wes, is one of the benefits of these drivers having everybody on the same communication channel for the race chatter. Tommy Kelly heard the 5 car was coming down pit road. He heard the call, letting the drivers, letting the officials know he was coming down. The first thing he did, matched that left foot on the clutch pedal and started saving fuel once again, because as the 5 car gives up that second spot, that moves Kevin Ruff, the number 8 car, into second place, but he is about 3 seconds back.
So that answers our question of Ed Boyles Jr. with saving or not earlier in that run. If he was, he sure didn't save enough. However, now it comes down to, does Tommy Kelly save enough? The next car behind him is going to be Ruff in the 8. Looking on Ruff's cockpit, he's definitely not saving whatsoever. He wants to get as much time on Tommy Kelly as he can, and just watching Kelly's in-car here, I don't see him saving much, if at all, here, Paul. I think he thinks he saved enough. If not, I don't see him being on the throttle as much as he is, but we're coming to 6 to go here. I think whatever your bet is, you've made it, and now you got to lie in it.
And there you can see the distance starting to close in a big way. Ruff closing into the back bumper of Tommy Kelly, who saves that time by, and he drives by pit road entrance again. He's going to come down 3 and 4, kind of wiggling the car back and forth. I don't...
Yeah, oh, the 8 is pitting. The 8 is pitting, Paul. Ruff just called in. Now Ruff is pitting.
So this is an interesting dynamic, and we haven't really seen it. We've seen plenty of fuel mileage races like this before. Here you can see the 5 car of Ed Boyles Jr., who just came off pit road after getting a splash, closing up in on the leader. He's going to drive by like he's standing still. Tommy Kelly still has time to save fuel and doing everything he can. That was not for position. That was to get Ed Boyles Jr. back on the lead lap. You can see these drivers, they've all come down pit road. They've gotten the fuel that they need to get to the end of the race. They're going to drive around the leader here. And Tommy Kelly paying attention to the scoring monitor, seeing Kling has closed in 2/10, 1/10. He's right in the back bumper now of the 3 car, going to make it high, wide, and handsome. Drive on by, and both of those drivers pass by the pit road entrance, so they're going to make it at least one more lap. Tommy Kelly now down on the apron, holding the clutch in, trying to save as much fuel as he possibly can. That 51 car, high, wide, and handsome, and it's another 4 seconds on back to Matt Mackin, and that is shrinking in a big way. Tommy Kelly still trying to hold on. That car is absolutely running on fumes at this point. We'll see if he can make it.
Paul, he's down to 97 miles an hour in the corner. 97 miles an hour these guys are dropping down to. They are absolutely not going. They are slowing down as much, or I'm 137 miles an hour. I'm sorry. They are absolutely just stopped in the corners here. As now we have Eric Kling coming around. We are at 3 to go. 3 to go. I don't think these drivers plan on pitting at all. Down to 135 miles an hour is Kelly into the corner. Almost, again, it feels like a dead stop. Kling with the same strategy here. Now, the next car behind them is Mackin in the 9. We don't know how Mackin's strategy is. By looking at his speeds, he is 20 miles an hour faster than these guys right now, Paul. This could get interesting coming to 2 to go here at Chicagoland.
There you can see the pit stop strategy, the stint length.
Mackin goes by Tommy.
And Mackin came down. He's on a 23-lap run, 29 laps for Kling, 31 laps for Tommy Kelly trying to hold on, and that's the longest we've seen anybody go all night long. Great little stat there that we've got thanks to SDK Gaming. But Eric Kling, he's going to try and hold on to the lead, but the 9 car, he's definitely got more fuel and fresher tires in that second position. That may very well be the race winner. We'll see what happens. Popsicle sticks in the air. Just kidding. White flag, white rag. Last lap here at Chicagoland.
What you have is what you have at this point, Paul. I don't think there's any more saving.
Tommy Kelly on pit road.
All right, that means Tommy Kelly did not save enough. Can Eric Kling save enough as we have now? The 9 coming off of turn 2. Right now, Kling with a second lead and dropping very quickly as they head down into turn 3. Does Kling have enough fuel coming through turn 4 on fumes as the 9 pushes it up the track? It looks like he does not have enough. Kling will be your winner. Eric Kling brings home the win here at Chicagoland.
Fuel strategy, the name of the game here, and it paid off for Eric Kling, the second win of the season and the second driver to come home with multiple victories this season here in the Lugz Cup Series. Matt Mackin finishes second. Josh Battles, great run for the number 41 driver. He finishes on the podium in third. Preston Purrier, after an early race incident, finishes fourth. Michael Miller rounding out the top 5 in that 48 car. Man, oh man, we've seen plenty of exciting battles here with the fuel mileage, but that was intense all the way up to the last drop.
Man, I'll tell you what, Paul. It's not often you get to see a run like that, where a true fuel mileage race where you got guys running out of fuel on the last lap, last corner basically. So Kevin Kling able to pull it off. So man, what a race! What a heck of a race there, Paul.
100%. And Eric Kling, 2-time winner here this season in the 51 car, parking it there on the front straightaway. We're going to talk to him here even before he gets down and gets that burnout. But man, what a great race. What a great strategy, saving fuel to the very last drop. Eric, talk to us, man. Great race.
Yeah, well, they're actually going to do the burnout for me because I am out of fuel. Yeah, I mean, it was a lot more work than I'm used to. I'm in VR, so I had to sit here with the keyboard and switch between the keys to find out how many laps were left and how much fuel I had left in the race. And I wasn't planning on doing that, but I mean, it just the race kind of played out in the way that it worked that way.
100%. You made mention VR. I know my colleague Wes Hogue runs with races with the VR. Talk to the fans about that. It's virtual reality. It's a headset that you kind of put on. You're able to kind of freely look around the race car, look around the track and stuff like that. What's your experience with the VR and iRacing?
I love it. I mean, it gives you all the same stuff that you would get from a race car, except I mean it's pixels and everything like that. But you've got a 3D depth, 3D view of everything, and it makes everything 10 times better, what you see, but you have to have a PC that's powerful enough to operate it and run it. And the type of headset you get makes a huge difference too in quality and how you feel about it. So
it's definitely a great race, an entertaining race here tonight. And we don't usually call the fuel mileage races entertaining, but that was a lot of fun up to the last lap here. And congratulations on the win, man. Want to give you the opportunity to let everybody know who makes it happen for the U.S. Army number 51 team.
Yeah, MVP, my veteran's passion, is going to be the U.S. Army teammates. Got to give a special thanks to some associates of mine from Gas and Go Racing for helping out with the setup for that as well, trying to get us in the right direction. But in this one, I don't think setup really played as much of a deal as finding a way to manage the fuel.
But definitely a great race. Congratulations. 2 wins here on the season. Good points night, good race. Chicagoland in the books on to next week. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And Wes down on pit road now. Going to slide it over to you. Caught up with that number 9 driver. Almost had enough. Maybe a lap, 2 more laps. Probably, maybe could have potentially gotten around the leader for the victory. But you've caught up with the number 9 car of Matt Mackin. potentially. Earth to Wes. Wes may have very well already run down to the bar. So I'll run down there. Matt Mackin in the number 9 car. Coming down to the very last lap, you can see the rear bumper of the 51 car, very clean, getting bigger and bigger in that windshield, closing in, knowing these drivers are saving fuel, not knowing how many laps they were able to go on a full fuel run as they were saving and trying to deal with lap traffic, this, that, and the other thing. Talk to us. Those last 5 laps had to have been a mental exercise for sure.
Yeah, I started figuring about halfway through the race that I was going to be able to make it on the one more stop. I had a fast car all night, but I got back in the back, involved in a couple of fender benders, and got back there. And so I decided that strategy might work. But yeah, I could see those guys those guys coming up those last couple of laps, and I knew everybody had to pit, but I can't believe Eric made it, that he was able to stay out and save that much. But another half a lap and I would have probably been there, but tires were just used up there at the end, and I just couldn't get enough of a run.
But coming home with the podium, coming home with a second place run here, and definitely a good points night at Chicago. So we want to congratulate you on finishing on the podium. Want to give you the opportunity again here to thank friends, family, sponsors, teammates, anybody that makes it happen for that Hendrick Motorsports number 9 car. The floor is all yours.
First goes to my wife for letting me do this stuff a couple nights a week, and definitely my teammates for working on the setup. So we've been working on it all week. So finally got it dialed into where we wanted it tonight. So, and the other guys ran well too, but the strategy just kind of took care of that.
And a great run here. Congratulations. Second place for Matt Mackin in the number 9 car.
Thank you.
And just a little bit further on down pit lane, going to hook up with Josh Battles in that number 41 car. Eventful race for sure, but gained a lot of spots from where you qualified, and fuel mileage, not usually the name of the game here at the big tracks, but made it work here. Talk to us about this race.
It was early on. I was brokenhearted. I got a pit penalty and was 2 laps down at one point, and then just pit strategy and my teammates keeping me calm, and we just battled back, and I'm tickled to death with the 3rd place. I think this is the highest finish for the series I've had so far.
And a great run. Seeing the 41 car definitely strong here towards the end of the race, and a lot of times strategy pays off. And did you have anything going into this race where you thought it could potentially come down to fuel mileage, or was it just kind of hammered down, and we'll see where the cards end up at the end of it?
No, and I really didn't have that much speed per se. On the short run, I knew I had a good car on the long run, but I never, and not in my wildest dream, figured it would have come down to fuel mileage like it did. And usually on fuel mileage, I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum where I'm short. So tonight was very, very refreshing to come up on the good end of it.
100%, and it's a gamble either way, and it's usually tough to see how it's going to pay off, and a lot of times it ends up being in other drivers' hands. But all in all, it paid off. The 41 car sitting on the podium, P3. I want to give you the opportunity to thank anybody that helps make it happen for the Virtual 41 team.
I got to thank my wife and my family for putting up with this. I spend several nights a week on my sim rig, and she's never said a cross word about it. I got to thank my teammates, Pete and Derek. Those guys have been an immense help. I've always tried to do this by myself, but having those 2 guys has definitely been an asset. And thank the admins for putting all this on, and you guys for doing the broadcast. I mean, it's a multi-part deal to make this fun and entertaining for everybody.
100%, and a great run here tonight, entertaining the masses as we do here on Verdane TV. Great to hear from you. First top 3 this season, like you made mention, career best finish this season as well in the Loose Lugz Cup Series. So great to hear from you. Congratulations on the good run. Go celebrate.
You got it. Thanks, guys.
And that's going to wrap things up here at Chicagoland. Race 6 in the books. on to race 7 next week, and we'll take just a quick look here at the upcoming week of events, and we're getting into the busy off season for the real racing, which means sim racing is going to crank things back up. Monday, this past Monday, the Trans Service Cup Series from Sim 500 was off for Labor Day, but we're back at it this upcoming Monday. Next Wednesday, Tim's Corner Motorsports Loose Lugz Cup Series, easy enough for me to say, doubleheader action on Wednesday, and tomorrow night, Multi-League Cup Series at Richmond. Going to be exciting to watch that, and NEPS is coming back October 5th at Daytona. That's going to be a big, an entertaining show for sure. We're looking forward to that. Lots of things coming up. Be sure to check out social media outlets, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, all that good stuff. Heck, I'm even on TikTok now, Strictly94, if you wanted to check out some, beer drinking videos for the most part. But that's going to wrap everything up here for Verdane TV. I am Showtime Paul Strickland Jr., my colleague who had to run off to the concession stand. It looks like Rowdy Wesley Hogue jumping on board here, and everybody here at the Loose Lugz Cup Series. Chicagoland in the books. On to next week. We'll catch you on the flip side. When we do, we're going to be doing it live.